The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. China's population shrank for the first time in 6 decades, with birth rates plunging in 2022. China reported a drop of roughly 850,000 people for a population of 1.411 billion. The latest tally marks China's first population decline since 1961. Beijing reported 9.56 million births in 2022, 1 million less compared to the previous year. The number of births is also lower than 10.4 million deaths in 2022. In the long run, United Nations experts see China's population shrinking by 109 million by 2050. Because of this, domestic demographers lamented that China would get old before it gets rich, slowing the economy as revenues drop and government debt rises. Ukraine continues to call on its Western allies to provide military tanks as the war with Russia rages on. Kyiv has been eyeing German-made Leopard battle tanks, which are the workhorse of armies across Europe. But these won't be delivered without authorization from Berlin, which now has a new defense minister. An official said the provision of military tanks to Ukraine will be the first matter to be decided by the new minister. Western allies are scheduled to meet at the U.S. Air Base in Germany on Friday to pledge military support for Ukraine. The World Economic Forum in Davos opened on Tuesday with the war on Ukraine and climate change on top of the agenda. Ukraine's First Lady Olena Zelenska gave a rare international address at the forum's opening, appealing for support and unity from the international community. Zelenska describes the war between her country and Russia as a threat and a collapse of the world as we know it.
What life can it be where tanks are allowed to strike a nuclear power station? What will happen to inflation when state borders start to collapse and the integrity of countries will be trampled on by those who want it? What will happen to the cost of living when millions, not millions, but tens of millions of people will be forced to flee a mass starvation?
Swiss President Alain Berset said Russia's invasion of Ukraine made the world face its worst crisis since the last World War. Berset said this is the reason why it's crucial for democratic countries to stand in solidarity with Ukraine. Earlier on Tuesday, a senior Ukrainian presidential aide said that over 9,000 civilians, including 453 children, have been killed in Ukraine since Russia's invasion last February.
Russia's war of aggression on Ukraine constitutes a brutal attack on a peaceful country. But it is also a brutal attack on international law and multilateralism. The war is causing great suffering, and it is playing a decisive role on the global development of democracy. That is why the great solidarity shown by democratic countries with Ukraine is crucial. Solidarity with the people in the country, but also with those who have fled.
We will be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Tesla and its owner Elon Musk go to trial in San Francisco on Tuesday in a shareholder case over Musk's 2018 tweets. The lawsuit seeks damages for shareholders who bought or sold Tesla stock in the days following Musk's tweets. In August of 2018, Musk on Twitter said funding was, quote, secured to take the electric car maker private. The company's share shot higher before falling again when the New York Times reported the funding for the take-private bid was, quote, far from secure. While shareholders have not specified the damages, they say Musk's tweets cost investors billions. The defendants, however, said they will argue that Musk had good reason to believe that funding for the deal had been secured. Here are other headlines we are keeping our eyes on. Investigators found expensive items like perfumes and designer clothes in the reported hideout of Italy's mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro. Denaro, who is one of the world's most wanted criminals, was earlier arrested at a private hospital after 30 years on the run. Pay growth in Britain rose by 6.4% in the September to November period, the fastest since records began in 2001. The Bank of England was closely watching the figure as it looks to raise borrowing costs for the 10th time in a row next month. And some memorabilia from popular music performers will be up for auction at the Music Cares charity in the US on February 5. Items to be auctioned include Taylor Swift's acoustic guitar, Eminem's signed tennis shoes, and an ensemble worn by a BTS member. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com.ph so you can stream One News anytime, One News live anytime, anywhere. Coming right up is Agenda at 8 a.m. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.